Come here. Come here. Come here. What are you doing over there, huh? What are you doing? Good girl. Good girl. All right. All right. Be a good girl. All right. Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, I'm going to cover some winter interest plants that are in my back garden space here in Raleigh, North Carolina, Zone 7B. Again, I frequently will say it's probably more like 8A because I'm in a very urban environment, an asphalt jungle. A lot of things in this back garden space that have gone in. This project is, 2 years old at this point. Most of the plants, though, that you'll see are a year or less in the ground at this point. And there's a lot of things I could cover back here. I've covered but I've also covered them quite thoroughly. So I'm going to try to skip around and show you some interesting things that I don't cover as often. There's a loropetalum behind me, this purple foliage loropetalum. I have a tea olive Osmanthus fragrans behind me that's in full bloom. Great winter interest plant. Talk about it all the time. I think you can probably see the sunshine ligustrum that's over my right shoulder as well. Great winter interest plants. But right now we're going to talk about this Brigadoon St. John's wort. This is Hypericum calicinum. Calicinum is a species of Hypericum. Hypericum we refer to as St. John's wort, but there's a lot of different species. Calicinum stays compact, less than 2 feet in height, and actually spreads, but it's not an invasive spreading plant. Hypericum calicinum are hardy in zone 5 to 9, so a lot of you watching this can grow this plant. It does flower like other St. John's worts, not as much so. Bees absolutely lose their mind on St. John's wort. If you've ever had, I don't care what species you have, bees get on them and they almost get drunk on them. They just get really worked up and go from flower to flower to flower to flower. It almost seems like it's some sort of like alcohol or something to the, something that almost becomes addictive to them. This particular variety is called Brigadoon, and it has this beautiful gold foliage. Again, this is hardy in zone 5 to 9. Those of you in zone 5, probably into 6A. This actually dies back to the ground completely during the winter time. Down here in the south, it stays either semi-evergreen or evergreen, depending on the winters we're having. Haven't had much of a winter so far. I think it's below freezing right this second, but for the most part, we have not had a very cold winter. So this one has stayed pretty much evergreen. In fact, it's got kind of a little bit of new growth on it. For us in the south, we'll cut this plant back in the late winter. So I'll literally run my lawnmower over it in all likelihood. Or head shears, it wouldn't really matter. But a regenerative pruning is a good idea on this plant. And again, I only got a few flowers last year. I'll probably get a few more this next year. They're bright gold flowers on a bright gold plant, and so they don't show up. The flowers don't necessarily show up all that well. But this is the backdrop to a lot of my video work here in the landscape, and I get constant questions about this plant. It might be the most questioned plant in the landscape, honestly. Going back through my, the questions that I get here on YouTube. But this is Hypericum calicinum. Again, a lot of different species of St. John's wort. This one's the most compact, ground cover-like, and this variety is called Brigadoon. These are, will take a wide range of pHs, wide range of soil types as long as they're not sitting in water. Really just kind of a rugged plant. Again, those of you in zone 5 and 6, it's going to die back to the ground on its own. Those of you in 7, 8, and 9, cut it back at the end of the winter, and it'll just flush back out and be gold all season long. In this angle, I've got all kinds of interesting winter interest plants. These 2 sedums growing together at the base of this container look amazing here in the middle of the winter, beginning of January. I got a palm in a container here. Got another sunshine ligustrum over my shoulder, and many other things that look great. But the plant that I wanted to show you here, this is Daphneodora Auro marginata alba. Remember, I talked about in the video yesterday, I have the regular Auro marginata in the front garden, and aura meaning gold, and margin meaning margin. So it has the gold margins or the variegations on the edge of the leaves. This is Auro marginata alba. The flowers are white on this variety. On the other one in the front garden space, the buds are white, the buds are pink, and the flowers open white on the interior of the flower. This one is white throughout. So the buds are white, and the open flowers are white. Started opening a little early here, probably about 3 weeks early. Again, I put up a video when I planted all these Daphne varieties in my landscape. I was super, super careful with the drainage on this plant. This plant can be a bit fickle. It's definitely worth trying. I do love winter Daphne. They're amongst my, top favorite plants. I mean, I grew these at my nursery and struggled through it, honestly. Tough plant to grow in a nursery, tough plant to grow in the landscape, but definitely worth it when it goes right. Even if it's short-lived, honestly. But I love this one, just kind of coming up out of this lemon coral sedum with the variegation on it and the white flowers. Again, it flowers in the winter. The rest of the year, it's evergreen with the variegated foliage and lots and lots of new growth up and down the stem here. This one's really going to put on a lot of growth here right at the in March and April. But Daphne odora, Auro marginata alba. White flowering variegated Daphne. So this is truly one of my favorite winter interest plants, and has a great story as well. It's actually an intergeneric hybrid, meaning it was two genera that were combined together. So the name of this plant starts with an X, meaning it's an intergeneric hybrid. Frequently you'll see the genera and then you'll see an X, meaning the two species were combined together. But this is a combination of Fatsia japonica and hedra, which is English ivy, and so it's called Fatshedra, but you'll see the X Fatshedra. They were distant cousins, but close enough that they were able to cross them. This was actually done in 1912 in France, so this has been around for a long time. This is X Fatshedra lizii, and this particular variety is called Angiostar. It has the beautiful variegated foliage. There are green versions of this as well. This is a great shade, either ground cover or vining type plant. It really does not attach to anything. That's the beauty of this plant. Is it sterile, so it's not invasive like ivy is. It also doesn't attach to the things you put it near, so it won't climb on my house and destroy it. But it does have to be attached to the wall. Has a slightly larger foliage than you would get on ivy because it's crossed with Fatsia, and Fatsia has big giant leaves. You'll see a Fatsia in just a minute. Beautiful, beautiful plant. Again, it's a shade plant. You get big evergreen leaves like this, and you're going to, likely that's a part shade or shade plant. I'm going to put a screw right here in the corner and attach it with a string, and that will allow it to go up another 3 or 4 feet up the side of my porch. Again, I've got one down here on the ground that's just being grown as a ground cover, basically right around the base of it. Really, really kind of easy plant. It needs well-drained soil. Definitely does not want to be in the midday sun in the summertime. But other than that, it's very adaptable. Unfortunately, it didn't take on any of the cold hardiness that ivy, you would hope that ivy would have given it. It's pretty much the same as the Fatsia. It's hardy in zone 7B. Unfortunately, no more cold hardy than Fatsia. I really wish it was. But beautiful, beautiful plant. Again, there are other variegated varieties other than Angiostar, and they're green varieties as well. All are worthy in the landscape. But if you have a shady place, you have a rail on a back porch that's in part shade or something, this thing attached to the side of it is just easy peasy. I'm in zone 7B or 8A, like I said, and occasionally we'll get a winter that will knock these back. They don't have an off switch, so this thing continued to grow right up until we got these hard freezes, and it's basically done some self-pruning here by trying to continue to grow, but that'll just branch it out. I'll get the occasional winter that could probably hit it pretty hard. Probably no big deal once it's established, but one of my absolute favorites, X Fatshedra lizii Angiostar. I flipped over to the other side of the palm from where the Daphne was to show you this spider's web Fatsia. This is Fatsia japonica spider's web. This is a variegated Fatsia japonica. I'm not getting a lot of variegation on this thing. I think I'll have it in almost too much shade. I think as it gets bigger, it'll be able to get a little bit more light back here. I've got it kind of hidden in this spot. It's going to end up being 4 or 5 feet in height. I've covered a lot of Fatsia japonica on the channel, and a lot of the winter interest videos that I will cover end up having Fatsia in them. They're just great evergreen plants that they actually typically flower toward the end of fall and into early winter with these kind of round-shaped flowers on them that the pollinators absolutely love. This one's grown mainly more for this variegated foliage, and just a great winter interest plant. It has a tropical look. Those of you who love, who like putting in things in a tropical garden, or having a tropical look in your garden, this is a great choice for that. It'll end up, again, variegated plants tend to be a little slower growing than green ones, but it'll still end up probably 6 feet in height. These will have multiple stems coming up, and the way to go about pruning the height out of them is just to trace the tallest stalk all the way down to the bottom of the plant, and just saw it out of the bottom of the plant. In the future, I'm a long way away from this one. I went against one of my own rules with this plant. This plant's barely hardy in my area. I mean, it's probably listed mostly zone 8 to 10. And I planted this in like November or December of last year, and it did take a little bit of winter damage in that first winter. It survived it and has actually ended up quite a bit fuller because it, again, took a little bit of damage. Sometimes it's like a pruning. It's like a free pruning you get if it damages the ends of the branches, but it's going to end up being quite a full plant because of that damage, but I probably slowed the growth down. I think this year, though, it should jump on up to in that 3 and 4 foot category. But again, this is Fatsia japonica, and the variety is called Spider's Web. Great plant. If you can find this plant and you're living in zone 7B in a protected spot, I have mine up against my foundation, or zone 8, 9, or 10 in a part shade or shade condition. Great plant. Give it well-drained soil. That's about it. That's about my whole instruction on it. Give it a well-drained space and part shade, and this thing is just fantastic. Again, I'll have a lot more variegation on it, I think, as it gets up here and it can get itself into a little more light than it currently has. So I'm hiding under my contorted Japanese maple to show you the last one for this video. If you like these types of videos, let me know. I've got a lot of other things that are really showing off. There's some other things throughout my neighborhood that are really showing off here in January. Got ice a couple days from now, but that doesn't really matter here in my area all that much. There'll definitely still be something that will be looking great. And go over to the J.C. Ralston Arboretum and do a similar type of video as well. Last one for this video is this Pittosporum. I've covered this Mojo Pittosporum several times on the channel. This is Pittosporum tobira Mojo, and what a beautiful variegated plant that is such a giant show off in the garden. This one appears to me to be a little bit more cold hardy. I'm going to say 7A to 10, and I just haven't seen this plant even touched at all in any amount of cold we've thrown at it here in my area in the last 5 or 6 years of being around this plant. I just never see it even get any kind of tip damage of any kind. I'm wondering actually how cold hardy this plant actually is. Experience with the other upright larger growing Pittosporum is they're damaged at 0 or slightly below, and this one just, I don't know, maybe it's the fact that it's just closer to the ground. I do keep the leaves around it, but what a great plant. Look at this big time show off. These types of Pittosporum will flower. They get kind of an insignificant fragrant white flower that you really won't see, but you'll smell it when it does. Again, obviously it's evergreen. I'm shooting this in January. This one will get about as wide as you want to let it get. So let's say 2 to 2.5 feet ultimately, and that can be controlled. They can be pruned in the late winter, and 4 to 5 feet if I just let it. I planted these 3 around this container, Japanese maple, and it will, I think this year, probably be right up against it all the way around. 1 year's growth here, they doubled. This is a plant that doesn't like wet feet particularly. Sun shade, I think half and half is perfect. That's where I've got this one. It will take more sun than I'm giving it, but it seems very, very happy where it's getting about 5 or 6 hours of direct sun, and a lot of that's occurring in the middle of the day. Again, no wet feet, but this is Pittosporum tobira Mojo is this variety, and there are a few other variegated ones as well, but I think this one has, to me, the most consistent variegation throughout the plant. Each leaf is pretty similar to one another, and which makes the variegation seem seems stable. You know, some other variegated plants you'll see have lots of different variegations in the same plant, but again, this one seems very consistent. Mojo Pittosporum. Thank you guys for watching these, watching my videos and following along with the channel. I do have another channel called Garden Plants with Jim Putnam, and this plant will be in a video by itself over there on that channel very soon. Thanks for watching.